Because it's very popular these days for people to talk about degrowth. But I think when we were discussing this show, we felt that ESG 2.0 is closely associated with the idea of for an organisation to grow its revenue. Is that right? And then this is the antithesis to the idea of degrowth, presumably.
When we look at ESG 1 and ESG 2, degrowth, I mean, if you look at ESG in that perspective, you would say, you know, degrowth is the natural process of it. And as well, it's been very fashionable to talk about degrowth, and we need to push a degrowth agenda for the planet. And we are, I mean, especially in the current economic and political context, this is an argument that is simply not flying, specifically in a global competitive perspective that has clearly gone away from the political agenda. And what is pushed now is growth. And we need to start to talk about growth. It's not a dirty word, because growth can coexist with the proper ESG strategy. And that is clearly what is on the agenda. And I think that the degrowth moment, it has a lot of value, but in the current context, no.
If you take ESG and sustainability, they are different issues, because the ESG has brought in more of a business case into the phenomenon. So therefore, if you're talking about business cases, you've got to create the right business case. And you can't go and borrow money unless the lender feels secure you're able to pay it back. And the way they look for that is to see the revenue line growing and the cost line to be controlled. So it's not about, is it a good thing or a bad thing? If you're going to advance money, and when I did some workshops last month, and they were making business cases to the executive group, and I think that you have to do it. But the issue is, I think there's a balance, because there are some groups that will be saying growth is a bad word. It's all about degrowth. But in other groups, which is I think the ESG 2.0 groups, we'll be talking about it's a necessary thing. So what I would say is that you need to have a business case that provides opportunities for the growth. And that goes back to strategic management, which I'm very much welded to. The business case dictates the growth phenomenon, but we mustn't forget the degrowth. If I may add, if you ignore degrowth from a tourism hat on, look at some of these countries that are now going through degrowth strategies. We're getting too many tourists. So we have to keep the growth phenomenon under control.